328. Strickland versus Chimaev. We back with another recap of a pay-per-view for March 2026 that was interesting. Sadly, it was kind of the floor of what I thought this card could be instead of the ceiling. Weird card from Jersey this week, to say the least. Some real ups and downs with it. And, yeah, really weird again, kind of sadly hitting the floor of what I thought this card was going to be more than the ceiling, which kind of sucks. And, still alright, but yeah, it was nowhere near what the ceiling of this card could have been, which was like a 9 out of 10 card of the year, It was not even close to 327 or Seattle, whatever, for the best card of the year. And, it wasn't bad, of course. It wasn't 326 bad. 324 and 25 were worse, but it was definitely could have been better. It definitely could have been better. A lot on this card. I'm not even gonna waste time talking about it. It was so fucking terrible, and I'm dead fucking tired. Double whammy there, and yeah, just not really a lot to add there. It was just, there was some good on this card. It was just kind of few and far between. The bad on this card is a lot easier to come by, and obviously I'm not going to waste time talking about that too much. And yeah, what more can I really say? So, was a terrible card. I think terrible is a stretch, but again, I don't think it was a great card, and sadly it was closer to what the floor of this card was than the ceiling, in my opinion. So, time to recap it. Oh joy, when I'm dead fucking tired a few hours after it. Let's fucking recap it. 13 fights. Oh buddy. I guess the one thing about the card kind of not being great is I don't have to talk about everything in depth. Thankfully. So, trust me, I hate. So, yeah, not really too much else to say there. I don't know if I was getting too deep into shit. And, yeah, it was an interesting one. Definitely some things we will remember from this one, but some shit that's better left forgotten as well. So, let's not yap anymore. Let's get into this. We got 13 fights, and again, at least half are probably gonna get the deepest of recaps. And, get into this shit, shall we? 13 fights, UFC 328 recap. Last thing to say before we do, of course, our YouTube bullshit. Please like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, I believe the only thing left to be said is, hold on, we gotta say something. 13 fights from Jersey, UFC 328 recap. You ready? I know I am not, but I have no choice. Now we recap 13 fights from Jersey. And, yeah, you ready? I'm as ready as I will be. It's 328 recap. I'm sleepy. Begin. As we begin the recap with the same fight, we begin breakdown with same order as said breakdown. Nothing too crazy or nothing changed there, thankfully. As we had to begin tonight with the worst fighting card on paper, that should turn out to be one of the better ones in execution. In the flyweight division, a very decent fight, which can be said for both flyweight fights on this card. We had in our opener of 328 from Jersey, we had a decent one between Jose Ochoa versus Clayton Carpenter. Yeah, this was closer to being a beating than it actually was a fight. Not much to really recap here for 15 minutes, Ochoa just beat the shit out of Carpenter. Really, no round was close. Maybe round 1 was the closest round of the fight. And I think, is that the one he got knocked out in round 2? I don't remember. Either way, Ochoa just beat his ass for 15 minutes. Dropped him. Carpenter couldn't get anything going. And Ochoa got the win here, so what can you really say? Yeah, calling this a fight would probably be disrespectful to actual fights, because fights are actually meant to be competitive, and this was not rare time we had to get a clean sweep of 30-27s, and yeah, what more can you really say here? It was a pretty decent fight against Ochoa. Kind of just beat the shit out of Carpenter for 15 minutes, kind of like a smaller JDM Protes style looking fight, and pretty good opener. Again, pretty solid opener here. Again, somehow turned out to be the second best prelim, which might say a lot about this card overall. And yeah, what can I really say here? So, good opener, good one for Ochoa. Not even really much of a fight to talk about because there's really no fight. And good stuff here. Pretty damn simple. So not really much more to say there. It was just again, kind of like Protes JDM. It was not even a fight. It was more just a beating, and that's pretty entertaining. So, what more can you really say there? So, not really much more to say there, so let's talk about the fighters. Beginning with the winner of said beating here, Jose Ochoa, moving to 2-2 in the UFC now. This might even be better than his Durden win, to be honest. It showed more here, more well-roundedness. Again, Ochoa looked really good here. He looked like he could really be a prospect. Again, the striking looked great. His grappling, the little we saw, looked fine. Power's good. The cardio looked good. Dude looked fucking good. Again, for a guy who did better against Lonnie Kavanaugh than Brandon Moreno. That Sioux fight really didn't like an off night. Dude was pretty decent. Maybe the best Peruvian fighter in the low bar, sadly. And dude solid. Again, 2-2 now in UFC. Who looked this good against a guy who was the worst opponent he's fought in the UFC. What can you really say? So, Ochoa showed up and showed out here to begin the night. And, yeah, he looked good. Again, he looked like a legitimate prospect here. Great performance. And, what more is there meant to be said here? So, just kind of a flawless victory. We're close to it. Wasn't such a flawless night for the loser here. The first loser of the night, and probably the last time we'll ever see him. Clayton Carpenter, now at 8-3, when a year and a half ago he's entering 2025 at 8-0. Yeah, shit just did not turn out for him, man, at all. His weaknesses got exposed of just not being that good. He's not a good striker. His cardio ain't all that. He's durable, but striking ain't great. His cardio ain't great. His defensive wrestling and submission defense ain't great. Now he's lost 3 in a row, and that looks about it for him. He's not a spring chicken. He is 29, gonna be 30 years old in a couple months. And time is time. He's just another failed prospect from the MMA lab. It's a bit surprising since they usually always hit on their prospects, but not here. And what can you really say? Could he still win fights in the UFC? For sure, if he fought Daniel Barres, Luis Gurule, but as those are the only fights you can win, you're not a good fighter. And time for him to go to PFL, so I think this should be the last time we see him. He just became a failed prospect, so Filho, Tagir, and Ochoa are not bad losses, just they're all losses in a row. and that should be the end of Clayton in the UFC. So, rare failed prospect from the MMA lab, and yeah, who would have thought at the beginning of 2025, in March of the year later, he'd be on the chopping block. So crazy how shit turns out, but that's life, ain't it? So here's Clayton. He's gonna be like the first lab member to ever get cut that I can think of. Jesus. So shit happens. And with that being said, the only thing left to be said now, for the first I think 6-ish times tonight, I ask, who should I fight next? For the winner here, Jose Ochoa. The funny thing with the fight idea for Ochoa here, he would kind of be in the same position as he was here, fighting a former prospect who was undefeated now on kinds of icy streets. I might say Hyunsun Park, and Ochoa would be the next jump here. Park in his own right has lost 2 in a row, and kind of in the same ballpark as Carpenter. He was hyped up, now he's just taking losses, and seems like Ochoa could be the one to take out these failed prospects. I would easily take Ochoa to beat Park, especially after that Bruno Silva performance. And yeah, Ochoa and Park, his age, again, kind of put Ochoa in the same spot he was with against Carpenter, against a former hyped up now losing streak guy, and you can get another bum off the roster. So I like the idea. Ochoa, Park, sounds like a good idea. I'm down to see it. It would be another nice one for Ochoa to maybe put a fight together, his little streak, and book it. Ochoa, Park could do that, probably the Apex in a couple months. Sounds like a good idea to me, so there's no reason not to do that. So, just fighting a much better Clayton Carpenter, who he'd probably beat also, so simple. And with that being said, not really much more to be said there. Again, matching in hindsight, this was one of the better fights on the card. Prelims alone, let alone the card in general, which kind of says more about the card than anything, but this fight wasn't bad either. Carpenter was a good punching bag for 15 minutes, and Ochoa was really good at punching him, so decent fight, decent clean sweep, and decent win for Ochoa to begin the night, so not really much more I can add here. Ochoa's pretty good, and who should he fight next? Again, I like the idea of him versus Hyunsun Park, fighting another former undefeated guy who's now on a 2-fight skid, and with another loss would probably get cut. So I like the idea. It's a step up from Carpenter, because Park is much better, and I think it makes sense, so why not do it? And then again, as for Carpenter, that should be him in the UFC done. Failed prospect happens. You know, we've had thousands and thousands in the UFC, and he's just another one of them. So enjoy PFL. He'll probably do pretty okay there. He's not a bad fighter, but he's just not UFC level, especially for who they're giving him. And that should be a Clayton Carpenter in the UFC. So not very much else to say there. Good opening fight. Good one for Ochoa. And yeah, let's see if Ochoa can get 2 guys cut back to back. That'd be kind of fucking cool. And what more can you really say there? So good opening fight. Second best prelim of the whole prelims, like EPs and pre-pre's. And yeah, not much else to say here. Good one for Ochoa to begin the night. Fun fight. And let's see if we can take out another failed prospect in Park. Good fight. Bye-bye Carpenter. Wish the rest of the card followed suit in being this good. They definitely were not. Because right after that we got the first of a lot of bad on this card. Beginning with our second fight of the night in the middleweight division, a division that had some really low lows on this card, and not even the highest of highs, as we had in the second fight of the night in the middleweight division. First of 4 fights there tonight, and when this was the worst one, that might say a lot. But they are all not. None of them were phenomenal, but yeah, the two that were waste of time were exactly that. Shocker. And we had our second fight of the night in the middleweight division. Fight that was exactly what I thought it would be. One of many fights on this card that turned out to be like that. We had our second fight of the night, first at middleweight, and we palmed out main event. We gotta get his boy first. That being a Baisanger Susurkayev versus the Jordan Santos. I'm not even gonna fucking waste your time here, or my time. Susurkayev was losing this fight going into the third, and let's say the judges agree. No, of course fucking not. He was completely losing this fight going into the third. He needed a finish. Luckily he got it, or unluckily because I wanted to see him lose, but either way he would look like shit against Jordan Santos. Like I predicted, he would look like shit until he gets to finish the Susurkayev way. That's exactly what happened. Shocker. I'm not gonna waste time. Susurkayev's garbage. They're going to keep feeding him guys of this level because he's so fucking terrible. Like, no joke, Susurkayev sucks. Ralston's better. Gutierrez is better. I probably pick some other guys over him for sure. Damian Pena, ain't a fucking debate. Like, this dude sucks. I don't know what you want me to say. Susurkayev is garbage, and he's going to get fraud checked very soon because he's awful. He struggled now against Eric Nolan, who dropped him and maybe won a round against him. McConaughey, who maybe took a round off him and survived to round 3, and Jordan Santos, who was beating him. Like, these guys, he's literally struggling against some of the shittiest fighters on the roster. And I'm meant to be impressed, and he's some great prospect. He's awful. He's maybe the worst prospect in the division. Again, Ralston, Gutierrez, fucking Pinas are all better. This guy sucks. I don't know what you want me to say. And do you really want me to give him a fight idea? Pick some terrible name out of the division. Brundage, Dumas, someone like that, because they're not going to give him a real fight because he's not good. So he's only here because he's Hamzat's boy, and he's garbage. What am I meant to say? So, and then for the Jordan Santos, good for him, man. He did better than he should. He did better than he was meant to here. He wasn't a pushover. My opinion was winning, and he helped Susurkayev look like the can that he is. So, not much to say. This fight was exactly what I said it would be. Susurkayev being shit until he got to finish. Didn't think he'd be losing 2 rounds before he did that, but still, he's awful, and I don't know what you want me to waste time talking about. So, pick whatever terrible middleweight you can think of. Jose Medina they might bring back, and Susurkayev would find a way to lose a round to him, so he's shit, and that's about that. And then, from a shitty fighter to a shitty fight, the worst fight on the card, in fact, in our third fight of the night. Matthew Shot Grant Dawson didn't win this award, but his featherweight counterpart did. Featherweight, fucking duplicate, whatever word you would like to describe him as, in our co-main event of the early prelims. The worst fight on the card, which takes in a lot with this card if you really think about it. We had the worst fight on the card, I'm not going to waste much time on because it was the worst fight on the card. We had Pat Sabatini versus William Gomez. Well, I'm happy to see Gomez lose. I'm not happy this was the shittiest fight on the card. I don't really need to say too much here. Did you see Batista and Aldo? Then you saw this fight, because it was exactly the same thing. And actually worse, because at least Aldo should have won that fight. Gomez did not. Gomez got hugged on the cage for 15 minutes and lost. Nothing else happened. They might have been at distance for 45 seconds, over 15 minutes. Sabatini just held him on the cage and won. Again, Batista, Aldo, but it's somehow worse. So, I don't know what I'm really meant to say here. There's really nothing worth saying, and it's the worst fight on the card. So, happy Gomez lost, but fuck, man, this was just dreadful. So, what else am I really meant to say? So, talk about fighters real quick. For the winner here, Pat Sab, now on a 4-fight winning streak, 9-2 in the UFC, and kind of showing why the UFC is not going to give him, at least I doubt that they're going to give him a ranking opportunity that he deserves, because he is very boring. 4 in a row, good, but the Pierce win was a bit best, easily, in terms of excitement. Brito was awful, Shepe was okay, not great, Gomez was even worse. Even the commentators are saying this during the fight, and this is a rare time they're actually right. Why is he fighting back and not getting ranking? Because he's boring. They pretty much just said that in every sense outside of that terminology. It's... what more can I say? Does he deserve a top 15 shot? Sure. Would he win? More than likely. Will he I'm going to give him a fight at the end top 15. I don't think that's going to happen because, again, he's boring, but he can only blame himself. He can't be mad at UFC for not giving him an opportunity he's earned. He's just too boring to have it. It's pretty self-fucking-explanatory there. And then as for the loser, and I can click on him, fuck William Gomez. Even in this fight, I'm happy for Sabatini he did this, because fuck William Gomez. Dude, the fucking can. Now he's in reality, he's like 3-1 in UFC. He's so shit. And fucking, so, not much else to say there. That being said, the only thing I'll have to say here is... who should they fight next? For Sabatini, I'm gonna give you the idea I thought they should have done to begin with him. Maybe they booked this fight for UFC Philly. David Onama. I think it makes sense. Nama should not be in the top 15 at all. He's not a top 15 level guy. Sabatini would easily beat him, and Sabatini has earned that opportunity to do so. So, book it. Sabatini, Onama, they could easily book that fight for Philly, because Sabatini took no damage here. And, yeah, I think this fight would Onama and Sabatini be the exact same as what we saw tonight, just probably with more takedowns. I don't think Onama could stop takedowns as well as Gomez, so... is Gomez better than Onama? Realistically, probably. And, yeah, do it. Onama and Sabatini in Philly. See no reason. Again, if you don't want to give him top 15 shot because he's boring, I'm not upset about that, but if you want me to honestly say who he should fight, David Onama's right there. So, not really much else to say. And, yeah, that's about that. If it seems like I'm rushing through fights, A, I am because I'm tired. B, I'm not wasting my time on these shitty fights, so this was the worst fight on the card. What am I meant to fucking say? He hugged him on the cage for 15 minutes. Whoop-de-doo. Good, fine win for Sabatini. Happy he won, but at what cost? And who should he fight next? Again, I think him and Onama should have been happening here. If not, should happen in Philly in 2 months, 3 months. I think that's August. And, hopefully they do that, so not really much more to say there for Gomez. Fucking... yeah, if this fight happened in Paris, he would have got the decision and we'd fucking know it. But thankfully he lives in Jersey and they know how to actually not be biased for a guy. So, fucking good one for Sabatini. Will he get that top 15 opportunity he deserves? Probably fucking not, but if he does, Onama's right there and makes sense, so fucking not really much else to say there. Worst fight on the card, sadly, and nothing else to really say there. And then, after that, we had our featured early prelim, which turned out to be the third best prelim of the night. Not too shocking, maybe I expected it to be a little higher than that, but, you know, still third best prelim of the night. It's not terrible on this card. It's not as meaningful as it usually would be, but it's what it is. As we had in our featured early prelim in the middleweight division, was probably the best middleweight fight on the card. Probably, but, you know, then again, that's not taking in too much. As we had in our featured early prelim in the middleweight division, the third best prelim of the night and maybe the best middleweight fight of the night. We had Roman Kopylov versus Marco Tulio. Well, if we didn't know Tulio sucked already, we do now. Yeah, this was another pretty basic fight to recap. Round 1, Tulio was a bit better on the feet, winning a pretty fine kickboxing match. Round 2 was much the same until like the last minute. Kopylov dropped him twice to take the round, so 1-1, and then at the start of round 3, Kopylov dropped him 2 more times to take the round early, and that ends, and the round continues, goes to full 5, and Kopylov wins 29-28 across the board, correct score, and nothing else to really say there, so simple, not really much to add. Yeah, good. Kopylov was not the better fighter here, that's for damn sure, but he landed the shots that mattered more, and 4 knockdowns is gonna win you any fight usually, so good for him, man. Decent fight, and third best prelim in my opinion, and yeah, what more can you really say here, so yeah, pretty basic fight. And Suzakaev might have been the only fight that was a bit complicated on this card, really prelim-wise, and yeah, pretty basic, so let's talk about the fighters. Beginning with the winner here, saving his UFC career, Roman Kopylov, now 7-5 in UFC, breaking his 2 fights kid before he could hit 3. Yeah, good for him, man. He really saved his own ass here. Again, he was not the better fighter in this fight, but got the win nonetheless, and I'll keep him in the UFC. So, 35 years old. Now he kind of resets and can see where he goes from here. I think he'll kind of probably fall into another maybe little skid. Because again, he's kind of not that good and would have lost this fight without a few lucky knockdowns. But he did his thing here. Yeah, added more time to his UFC career, and see where he goes from here. So I think we all know his time as a ranked, hyped up guy is long gone. But you know, still can beat some guys in this division, and see where he goes from here. So not really much to say there. Again, he's definitely not the next Mirko Cro Cop. That was some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. As for the opponent here, the loser here, Mr. Dumont, and yes, why I call him that, because Norma is the much better fighter. Tulio's kind of just the better version of Antonio Trocoli. Dates a female fighter that's much better than they are. And God, is that true. You know, when I said don't fight like Norma, I didn't mean fight worse. This dude just can't take a fucking punch. It's actually weird how this dude cannot take a punch. Augusta win and he's flying everywhere, so he has talent. He's not a bad kickboxer, he just can't take a fucking punch in that middleweight. That's not a good thing, so 2-2 now in UFC, and a must win in his next fight. Obviously, any idea of him being a prospect is more than dead now if it wasn't already. And, yeah, again, Norma's the much better fighter, that's for sure. And this dude just can't take a punch, so that's why he lost. If he could actually eat a punch halfway decently, he would have easily won this fight. But he can't, so Galashin Tulio loses again, and we'll see where he goes from here. Not much to say. With that being said, not really too much more to be said here. I don't give a fuck who Kopylov fights next. Maybe, I don't know, Jung Young Park, just thinking off the top of my head. Park, or fucking, I think Ikram's booked, ain't he? Yeah, Jung Young Park, why not? Just first name that came to mind. So, not much more to really say there, so fine fight. Again, Kopylov, well, not the better fighter, but he got the win here, and yeah, Miss Dumont has no chin, so what can really be said there? Tulio sucks. Kopylov saved his own ass. God, I was gonna put him on a chopping block, but he won, and yeah, not really much else to say there. Decent fight, the best prelim of the night, and maybe the best middleweight fight of the night as well. So take that for what you will, and not very much else to say there. So my first L of the night, also a bit fucking annoying. Either way, fine fight and fine end to the early prelims, which needed something good after those last two fights. And there you go. Those were the EP early prelims. The beginning and end were good, and with Ochoa and Kopylov, Sabatini and Susakaev were garbage. And yeah, not great. Don't worry, the prelims won't take another 30 minutes to talk about, believe me. But yeah, fine early prelims. Kopylov and Ochoa were fun. Middle, I wish I didn't see. And not really much else to say there, so I've seen worse. Like, I could have seen better, and not a bad way to lead into the prelims, at least, which were not a little better, but not by much. I don't know. This whole card was weird, so let's see if the prelims really were better. As we began them in the lightweight division with a doubleheader, this one being the much better fight of the two. As we had in my first really good call of the night, underdog-wise, we had in our prelim opener in the lightweight division, the legend himself at home doing his thing like he always does. We had, to open the prelims, Jim Miller versus Jared Gordon. Yeah, I finally called a good fight, a good underdog. Not really much to recap here. I believe it only went 3.5 minutes. They traded some shots, nothing really too great land on either side, a little bit of grappling. Eventually, Gordon caught I think a body kick from Jim, tried to shoot in, which is the worst thing you could do against Jim Miller. Instantly jumps guillotine, Gordon has to tap, and Jim Miller gets his 39th win, and his 47th fight, my bad, at home. Gets a bonus, which deserved. And awesome. What can you say? Jim Miller still winning fights at 42 years old. Maybe his last fight at home, who knows? And awesome. What more can you really say here? So I just told you I had a feeling Jim could win this one at home, be a little more motivated with all his family stuff over the last year, and I was right. He looked a little more angry or whatever, motivated again, I guess the term, than usual, more motivated instead of just I want to get 50 fights, and good for him, man. Always good to see a Jim Miller win. Gordon did the number one mistake you never do, and a shoot on Jim Miller. Cowboy learned that as well. And yeah, what more can you really say? So, pretty simple, quick fight, best prelim on the card, obviously, and what more can be said here? To talk about the fighters here, beginning with the winner, that being the legend, the first ballot Hall of Famer himself, Jim fucking Miller. 39-19, you love to see it. 28-18-1 now in the UFC at 42 years old. And yeah, now we wait to see who number 48 will be on Jim Miller's fighting career. 3 more fights left, I would imagine. He has one more this year, probably like November-ish, maybe in that ballpark. Then he retires next year at number 49, like April, May, whatever, and maybe June, who knows. And then he will probably retire maybe October, November next year on fight number 50. So this was number 47. 3 more for just a complete fucking legend. And good for him, man. Good win here against a guy in Gordon who is still pretty decent. And 3 more for Jim Miller. He's really gonna retire eventually after 3 more fights. That's insane. And yeah, what can you say about Jim Miller, man? Fucking 47 fights in now. Fucking 28 wins, 14th submission. Dude's a first bout Hall of Fame legend. And see who number 48 will be. Talk about that in a second. As for the loser opponent here on the other side of the cage, the younger guy somehow, but didn't help him too much here. Jared Gordon, 21-9 now, 9-8-1, taking his second loss in a row where he didn't look too great. Yeah, Gordon is really fading at this point in the UFC. He could probably still win some fights if you give him lower level guys, and that's probably who he will be fighting next time. But against these better guys, Nasrat, Hoffa, Jim, he just really can't hang in there anymore. The Moises win was really good, but I think that more shows how washed Moises is at this point. And we'll see where Gordon goes from here. I guess he's in retirement. I guess he ain't retiring yet. He'll get another fight attempt in the UFC, I would imagine. And see if he can get back on track. So, wouldn't be shocked if we don't see him till November in the Garden, since he's from New York. Maybe that's a retirement fight for him. And yeah, and what more can I say? Like I said, ever since that Paddy fight, he's not really been too good, and I just felt like he wasn't gonna win this one. He didn't, and we'll see if he can bounce back. Give him a lower level guy next time out. And I think he could win. If you get, there's probably 20, 30 guys in this division, in like the lower ranks, that he could beat easily. He just has to fight one of them, so see if he can get one of those guys, and not really much more to say there. He just made the one mistake you never make. You don't shoot on Jim Miller. Cowboy learned it, and many others have. Gordon adds his neck to the list. Speaking of the list, who's going to be number 48 on Jim Miller's list of fights? Let's talk about who should fight next. There's definitely many options, but hopefully no younger options, because we don't need to see him fight anyone young. Please, we want to see Jim Miller go out on at least some winning or winnable fights. So who should that fight be? I guess the main 2 ideas I had were either, I don't know if he's fought these guys before, but he's fought everyone, so who knows. I would say either Edson Barbosa, give him one more fight, or a guy who just fought not long ago, MJ, Michael Johnson. Has Jim fought either of those 2? I don't think he's fought MJ. Did he ever fight Edson? I would imagine no, because I don't remember it. Like, I don't even remember ever seeing that fight on his record, so yeah, he never fought Edson, he's never fought MJ, so I'd be fine seeing either one of those. I'd probably say Edson would be cool, because like MJ is still pretty decent. That might go a lot like the Bobby Green fight did for Jim. But well, yeah, Diego Fieda's there too, but again, I'm not sure how I feel about that one either. I kind of like the Edson fight. I think that'd be a very winnable fight for Jim. Edson, a legend in his own right. At the end of his career, that can be his last fight. A fight that's never happened before. 2 guys who've been fought at lightweight forever and just like have never crossed paths. Why not? Jim Miller, Edson Barbosa. How old is Edson? Because I said Jim Miller was like the 3rd oldest fighter. So Edson is 40 as well. I think MJ and Diego Fieda are a bit younger. So I like it. It would be a nice win for Jim to get win number 40. A nice 48th fight for him in general. And why not? Well, again, there's other options against Diego Fieda, Michael Johnson. Like someone said, Drew Dober. I would not like to see that, to be honest. Matt Frivola, João Quinto Silva are older dudes who I think he could probably beat. There's options for him, but I really like the Edson Barboza idea. Again, never happened before. 2 OGs. Why not? Why not? Yeah, it's the most winnable fight out of all of those for Jim, in my opinion, of how old Edson has looked lately. And, do it. Why not? There's no reason not to. So, yeah, Jim Miller, Edson Barboza, about 15 years late. But hey man, better late than never, as they say. So, book it. Why not? And with that being said, not really much more to be said there. Jim fucking Miller is really all I can say. Dude, the legend, Hall of Famer, da-da-da. And what a great moment after the shit he went through over the last year and why he wasn't fighting. Come in here, do this in 3.5 minutes, get a win, get a bonus. Awesome. Good for him. 3 more fights for him. 48, 49, 50. I don't care if they give him cherry-picked layups. Let the man go out on some easy wins. So, who would I have him fight for number 48? Let him fight Edson Barboza. They've never fought before. Why not? Again, about 15 years late, but it'd be a fun one. So, do it. And, what more can you really say here? So, not really much more needs to be said there. Jim fucking Miller, man. Legend through and through. And, 3 more. That's painful to say. As for Jared Gordon, he might only have 1 more left. We'll see how he bounces back after this. And, yeah, fun unk battle. Nice quick finish. Good bonus earned. And, Jim Miller won in 2026 at 42 years old. The next fight will probably be when he's 43 years old. Unless he can get 2 more fights in this year, which I doubt he's gonna even try, and he's probably fine with doing just 1 more this year and 2 next year. We'll see how he tries to plan out his last 3. And, what more can be said here, so. Awesome. Good win for Jim. Love to see it. And, dude's a fucking legend. First bout, Hall of Famer. I'll see him beat up Edson Barboza in 2026. Cause that is what would happen if they fight right now, so. Do it. Not very much else to say there. And then the prelims got a lot less fun after that. Not awful, but, could have been better. And we went from the lightweight legend to the lightweight joke. Not gonna waste your time here, because no time needs to be wasted. Enough time was wasted watching this shit. As we had our second fight of the prelims, and staying at lightweight for Grant Dawson versus Mateusz Rambetsky. What am I meant to say here? Rambetsky's a fucking idiot. Round 1, he tries to grapple Grant. Grant fucking reverses and lays on him. Round 2, Rambetsky drops him and could easily get the knockout, but he tries to be goddamn grappler and loses. And then in he wins the round, but he loses the chance to get the knockout. And then round 3, he tries to be Mr. fucking grapples and loses. So, 29-28 Dawson. Or no, he got the submission late, my bad. I forgot about that. Rambetsky quit like a bitch on top of everything. And, yeah, I don't care. Dawson fights like a bitch. Rambetsky quit like a bitch. And, yeah, I don't care. Dawson sucks, and I'll never respect such a boring little bitch. And Rambetsky get cut. You lost 3 in a row. You're 1-4 in your last 5. Good riddance, you dumb motherfucker. Not much else to say. Fuck Grant Dawson. Next. And then after that, from one boring ATT member to another, at least it's going to finish quicker, and it was a little more exciting with his takedowns. We had a co-main event in the prelims, the fight I hyped up to the moon all week for it to be very We had in our co-main event in the prelim, the fight, and I got all my hype, and God, it did not make me look great. We had Yaroslav Masov defending his welterweight ranking versus Joel Alvarez. Yeah, I swear they don't train shit at ATT outside of snuggling. Never go to that camp, you're just gonna snuggle with a bunch of dudes all day. Yeah, Masov hugged Alvarez in round 1. Round 2, he hugged him a bit more, threw him on the ground, locked up an arm triangle choke, and got the win. Pretty self-explanatory. Would like to see Masov actually fight a little bit, but I guess that's a big goddamn ask. And instead he just snuggled Alvarez to death until he tapped, so... Great. Good, fine win too, that was boring as shit. And, what am I really meant to say here, so... For Yaroslav Masov, 30-1 now, which is a batshit insane looking record. 2-0 in the UFC. Got a bonus here. Probably should have went to Bobby Green instead, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, this dude will make some noise at welterweight, one snuggle at a time. Give him a top 10 guy and see how he does. So, 32 years old, he's still got plenty left in the tank. 2 good wins now against Neal and Alvarez. And, yeah, see where you go from here. Hopefully a top 10 guy in the division. So, simple. Give him a top 10 guy. As for the loser here, that being the underwhelming Spaniel, Joel Alvarez, a guy who, like Ignacio Bahamondes, I thought had all the talent to be a top 10 guy, and he, like always, shits the bed. So, good job, dickhead. Yeah, this is gonna be his career at this point, the same as Ignacio Bahamondes. Talented, but can never break that glass ceiling and get a big win against someone good. And he'll get a few more wins, fight a top guy, and lose again. So, he had no idea how to grapple. This was a lot like the Armand fight, just he didn't get his head split open this time. He just got snuggled to death. And, yeah, what a disappointing fighter, man. Can you say he wasted his prime at lightweight? Maybe he's just not that good, who knows, but I just feel like dude could do so much better, and just fights like this, shows up like this at times in big moments, and now he's 8-3, 1-1 at welterweight, and just kind of a disappointment. So what more can I really say there? The only thing really left to say here is, who should they fight next? For Yaroslav, I think it's more than time to do this idea that people were saying after his debut win, but I think it's more than time to do this fight now. Feed him Leon Edwards. Why not? Leon, I don't think has a fight right now unless he's fighting like Euros Medic, or there's that weird news about him fighting D-Rod at, I think, IFW, but I don't think they're gonna do that. So, yeah, Leon and Amasov. Makes sense. Why not? Would be a nice win for Masov. Join the top 10. In a perfect world, we could actually get Usman to stop pretending he's in title talks, and he could fight Yaroslav, but he would never take that risk. So send Leon in there. He gets slaughtered probably in London or maybe in an Apex main event. And yeah. Look at the people were saying that after his debut win, let alone now. So, because outside of that, like a few people were like, "Oh, him and MVP would be cool." Yeah, but how much does that really do for Yaroslav? D-Rod does nothing. Medic ain't happening. They're not gonna kill off Mawat or Bonfim. Buckley is meaningless now. He ain't gonna fight Brady or Bilal or any of those guys. He ain't gonna fight Kamaru. Leon, I think it makes sense. And Leon has ran his course. Masov needs a big win to join the higher echelon and get into more conversations of this level of guy, and beating Leon easily would do that. So look, it makes sense. Leon Masov, London main event, Apex main event, feature bout on the main card, whatever. Book it, simple, and there you go. So not really much else to say. And that's about that. For Joel Alvarez, he'll probably go knock out some lower level guy, like, I don't fucking know, it's just fucking somebody, and yeah, it would just continue to fall short in bigger fights. So frustrating, but that's the case. And that's about that. So that being said, again, good win for Masov. The dude does seem very good. Would like to see him actually strike a bit, but not yet. And who should he fight next? I think Leon Edwards makes the most sense. Give him a top 10 guy. If not Kamaru, Leon's right there. No one else really makes too much sense. I wouldn't do as much for him as beating Leon. And yeah, look, it's pretty simple. Dude is 30-1. If that's not deserving of a top 10, fuck, if you gave him a top 5, if you gave him JDM, I don't think anyone would actually be upset about that, but they ain't gonna do that. And yeah, Masov, Leon, book it. Simple. More there to say. Dude is not 30-1 for no reason. He will probably... I don't think he's gonna fight for the belt, but I don't think he's gonna lose until he fights a Prates or a Morales, something like that. Got him, and they would love to do him in Islam just for that build-up of, what, 30-1 versus 20... What is Islam now? 22-1 or whatever. Let's see if they do that in the future, but right now, I'm off Leon. Book it. Or Usman, but Usman ain't doing that shit, so not very much else to say there. Fine performance. Wish he would strike more, but whatever. Still don't think he deserves that bonus over Green. And simple. Dude's good. And then we ended the prelims with the most meaningless fight of 2026. A fight that they could have just fucking changed the records when it was booked, because we already knew the outcome. Everything I said for Susarkayev fight stands here as well, as we had in our featured prelim at middleweight, Adiva Gutierrez versus Ozzy Diaz. So Gutierrez looked terrible in round 1. Did every judge give him that round? I would fucking imagine. Yeah, it was a close round. He didn't do that good. Then round 2 he landed a nice overhand right, dropped Ozzy, and they called it bad stoppage, but we'll talk about that term again later. Bad stoppage, don't care, he was gonna win anyway. 13-2 now on lock of the night, thanks Philho and Mirzakhanov. And yeah, what is there to really say? Same thing as if Susarkayev stands here. What's the point of giving him a fight idea when he's not gonna fight anyone good? He's gonna fight Cedricus Dumas or fucking Cody Brundage. Fuck, Jacob Malkoun, GM3. Like, none of those fights mean anything. He actually deserves a higher level guy than Susarkayev. Like, the dude's, what, 5-0 now? Give him fucking... Just give him somebody, man. Give him fucking... I'm trying to think who could he fight who was like realistic and would be like a good enough step up. Like, I don't fucking know. Fuck, I'm completely blanking. Like, if Chris Curtis was still there, someone like that would like I'm not giving him a fight idea, just a hypothetical at this point, 'cause that's all it is. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, even Dustin Stoltz should be a more respectable fight. Fucking Trayshawn Gore would be as respectable. Not really. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Gastelum, have him beat up Mansoor. Do something. Enough with this bullshit. Oh fuck! I forgot about Sharbolt. They do the same thing with him. It's fucking stupid. I don't know what I'm to say. This is a waste of time. For Ozzy, he did what his job was. He went in there, lost, got knocked out, gave Adiba a highlight. Cool. What am I meant to say? He's fucking terrible. So this is a step backwards from fucking Robert Valentine. So and he looked worse than he did against Valentine, so I don't think Adiba's as terrible as Susarkayev, and maybe he can actually get better. I think Susarkayev is a lost cause, but dude, this is pointless. These are meaningless fights. Like, you could have him co-main a card if you gave him a legit opponent. Like, he could co-main an Apex card if you had him fight Kelvin. People would really want to see that. No one cares about this. It's fucking pointless. It's a shitty stoppage. and outside of just giving everyone a free pick and a free parlay piece, this was meaningless. A meaningless highlight. Diaz sucks. He did his job here perfectly. Gutierrez has done nothing impressive. Pulev, like, how good is Pulev, I guess. And I don't know what else to say here, so simple. Give him this whole time, Ruziboyev, instead of Pulev. What? They should have switched opponents here. He should be fighting Ruziboyev, and Pulev should have been here, but whatever. Bullshit. Waste of time. And until he fights anyone good, what's the point of giving him a fight here? Because he's going to be fighting Cedricus Dumas or fucking Antonio Trocoli. Whoopie-doo. Pointless. And there you go. Those were the prelims. Not great. Jim Miller was great. Amasov was okay. Dawson and Gutierrez were nothing. And overall, these were just not great. Prelims overall, Amasov was okay. Miller, Kopylov, and Ochoa were good. The rest was terrible. Susarkayev, Sabatini, Dawson, Gutierrez. Too meaningless, too boring. And just not a strong prelims. 3-4 fights being generous were okay, were good, and just not a great prelim. So, was the main card better? Well, let's not lie to ourselves. Was this a good lead into the main card? Fuck no. Did main card save this card like the last few fight nights? Not really. Let's talk about it. Already almost an hour in, and we got more fights I don't care to talk about, so let's get through them. Beginning with our main card opener. In the 160 weight class, because Jeremy Stephens missed weight. Good job, lazy old fuck. As we had in our main card opener, a BKFC main event 10 years late. That still shouldn't have been on this main card. Jim Miller should have been here, to be honest. As we had in our main card opener, at the most pointless fight humanly possible between King Green versus Jeremy Stephens, opening up the main card in Jersey of 328 with an so predictable outcome. Not much to say here. For 4 minutes, Bobby just styled on Jeremy before he got him down. Rear naked choke, got the win. Well, by submission, a bit shocking. His third ever UFC submission, and that was that. Did I miss anything? I remember there was a nut shot. How did it? Yeah, this was a waste of time, waste of main card time, and I don't know what to really say here, so didn't this fight do anything for either guy? No. But King Green, he got a third win in a row, and it was his worst one. Like, this fight does nothing for him outside of getting him another win and fight in the UFC. And for Jeremy Stephens, he shouldn't fucking be here anymore. So, what am I really meant to say? I never want to see Jeremy Stephens fight again unless it's fucking BKFC. And King Green wasted his time beating up a guy who is a waste of time to fight. So, what am I meant to say here? Let's just give King Green a more intriguing fight idea. He should have got bonus, damn it. Who should King Green fight next? He's the one I didn't really look at, because I wasn't gonna give him an idea, but fucking why not try and give him something intriguing at least. I would like to see him fight MJ, but I think that's almost a step back at this point. He has won 3 in a row now, so he's gonna definitely be asking for a higher echelon opponent. Who would that be, though? That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. Like, he probably wants top 15, which is just not fucking happening. Someone said Hoffa. I don't hate that idea. So, if Dan Hooker wasn't so highly ranked, I think that'd be a really good fight. Him and Dariush ain't bad. I don't think they've ever fought, so you know that could be intriguing. So, like, I don't know, McKinney would be a banger, but I don't think they want to do that to Bobby. So, I don't know. Like, this fight just, it's fucking meaningless. So, maybe Beneil Dariush. I don't think they fought before, and Beneil's dumb enough to take that fight. Maybe Mason Jones and Bobby Green. A few other options you could do, who knows, but I don't know. I really don't care. Not because I don't like Bobby Green, just this fight is meaningless. It doesn't really boost him up or down to anything. Got him a third win. Cool, but outside of that, nothing, so... And again, for Jeremy Stephens, can we stop giving this guy opportunities? He's not a fucking legend. His career highlights are Conor making fun of him and losing. All I can ever think of with Jeremy Stephens is losing. So the dude's not won a real fight since 2018 against Josh Emmett. That says a lot. And what else am I really meant to say here? So... waste of time. Bobby Green was pretty much just handed a free win here. No, he didn't even fucking need it. He probably could have beat someone, a legit opponent. But instead, waste his time with this. And, yeah, one more I'm going to say here. I swear to God, if I see another Jeremy Stephens fight in the UFC, I'm going to lose my shit. And King Green, easy win. Nothing more to say there. So, good for him. Waste of a main card spot, and Masov or Jim Miller could have got this and would have been more respectable, and not really much else to say about. But they're two OGs, respect your legends, and these are our legends. Their names, so that's not a fucking answer to why it's on the main card. Fucking whatever, stupid. From a fight that shouldn't be on the main card to a fight that was the piss break of the main card, and God was I ever correct about this. I fucking told y'all from the beginning this was a piss break, and guess what it was? A fucking piss break. As we had in the second fight of the main card, a fight that actually got a lot of talk on fight day yesterday, for the stupid reason that every fight gets talked about on fight day at this point. We had, in our second fight of the main card, the piss break of the main card. No surprise, I was right. After we had Sean Brady versus Joe Quinn Buckley. So Brady did not throw this fight. People were talking about, oh, the betting odds got really close, but a lot of money came in on Buckley, but Brady ain't minus 300 anymore. Who cares? That only Isaac Dolgarian is stupid enough to throw a fight. No one has since, even with the MJ bullshit, Sean Brady stuff today, Hernandez against Garcia. They're not throwing these fights. Either they're winning it because now they're trying, or they're losing because they suck. Pretty fucking self-explanatory, but every fucking pay-per-view, people gotta make a big deal out of this shit, which is stupid. And it was meaningless here, because for 15 minutes, Sean Brady 30-20, fucking 30-26. I didn't watch round 3 fully, I'm not gonna lie to you. But, you know, I can take a guess. I just laid on Buckley and won. So, 30-26, maybe round 3 was 10-8. I didn't see it, I didn't care, and, second he got takedown, I wanted to go get something to eat, to be honest with you. Pretty simple. 30-25 is insane. It might be, I'm shocked I didn't give out a 30-24, to be honest. And, yeah, what am I really meant to say here? Sean Brady's boring like always, but he's the better fighter here. And Joe Quinn Buckley is the same tomato can he's always been. We can finally give up on the idea of him ever being some great fighter, because he's not. Like, his little winning streak was so fucking meaningless, it's not even funny. Ruzy Boy of whose ass, outside of that, all old dudes, Luke A. Wonderboy, Colby. That winning streak would be great in 2018. He did that shit in like 2024. Like, then shitty old Usman beat him with, and that win for Usman looks worse. And God, Usman's a shitty fucking trainer, ain't he? And now Buckley loses the same way. Thank God this was not the main event of the Apex card a few weeks ago, because, fuck it, Sterling's Law was much better. So, Brady might have actually, like, 50-40'd him, and what am I meant to say? Brady will probably fight JDM. Do I give a fuck? No. So, you know, he's too boring for anyone to give a shit about what he does, and I guess he ain't going to lightweight, because that's fucking stupid. So, for Buckley, he sucks. Same can he's always been. and he'll probably get fed to someone they want to build up. If it's Mike Malott, he might beat Malott, to be honest, but for like Malott or maybe Euros Medic, he could fight D-Rod, or maybe an unranked guy, Jacoby Smith, fucking someone else, so maybe a Masov, but I really don't see a point of that. Fuck, that might be a step back for a Moss. Actually, Alvarez is much better than Buckley, so not really much to say there. Buckley is just terrible. He's the same can he always was at middleweight. I'm not gonna lie, I fell for the trap going into the Usman fight, but now I can admit he sucks fully, and yeah, now he's lost 8 rounds in a row. Good job, Joe Quinn. Keep being funny on Twitter and whatever else the fuck you do, because you're not a good fighter. And yeah, Buckley's the creator. Another loss. Shocker. Fucking shocker. Nothing really more to say there. Shitty fight, as expected, with it being the piss break of the card. And yeah, Sean Brady's boring and trash. Buckley's just trash. Simple. And then we had to get our robbery of the night out of the way. Gotta check that box no matter what. Always have to get one. Everybody gets one, you know it. As we had, and of course we're gonna be with this fucking guy, because it always is. As we had in our featured bout of the main card, the robbery of the night. You'd love to see it. A fight that wasn't even that good, on top of it being a complete robbery. We had Alexander Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Yeah, there's no fucking way Volkov won this fight. I think Waldo completely won the first and third. Wasn't dominantly, but he actually was trying to fight. Volkov just ran away for fucking 2 rounds. He won round 2 for sure, but he ran away in round 1 and 3. And I think Waldo got completely robbed here. So, bullshit decision. No fucking shocker. Especially with Volkov. His last 2 wins are robberies, and his last loss was a robbery. That'll make that make sense. And yeah, no, I meant to say, wasn't even that great of a fight. Definitely was not Hooked and Blades. And yeah, Waldo got robbed here. What else I really meant to say? So, pretty self-explanatory. You had to get a robbery. They picked this fight. Actually, maybe the main event as well. And bullshit. What am I meant to say? At least the silver lining, Volkov should finally get that title shot, but it sucks had to come at the end of a robbery, and Waldo got fucked over here. So, what is there to really say? Robbery across the board. There you go. And then we get into the real shit on the card. What we were all here for. Title time on this card. Beginning with the co-main event of the evening for the undisputed UFC Flyweight Championship of the world, and on paper and in scene of execution, the greatest flyweight title fight of all time. We had in the co-main for the gold, the reigning, defending, and still champion Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. What a goddamn fight, man. What a banger. Like, this fight was just awesome. Round 1, Taira dominated, got him down and kept him there. Round 2, Van knocked him down late. Beautiful knockdown. No idea how Taira survived that. And that was Van's round when his shit started to change. Round 3, Van dominated him, in my opinion, a 10-8 round, but, you know, it was close. No, not really. It was close to being a 10-9, but I thought it was a 10-8. Round 4, Taira bounced back somehow and took round 4. And then round 5, when it happened, obviously, what we're all talking about with this fight. Round 5, Taira gets hurt again, runs away against a cage, and the ref calls it. Yeah, not a great stoppage. I think we all can kind of agree with that. Do I think it's the worst ever or anything? No, I think the Debo one on this card was the worst one. But you could have let this fight continue, and I don't think anyone would have been too upset about it. Like, I don't really understand this stoppage completely. Yeah, Taylor was fucked up, but he wasn't that hurt. And again, I think he could have let this continue, but Van was gonna win anyway, more than likely, but the stoppage was bad. Stoppage was really bad, and what more can I really say? So, not really. Van was gonna win anyway, I guess, is a silver lining, because if he was losing, then yeah, this would be some bullshit. But he's gonna win anyway, more than likely, and again, I guess I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I guess I understand it. And either way, what a great fight. Got fight of the night for clear reasons of it being the fight of the night. And yeah, it was a great fight. Pretty simple. Again, best flyweight title fight ever on paper and their execution. Stupid people still say, oh, you can't torture. No, you don't want him back. You can lie to yourself, but you don't want him back. And this was awesome. What can I say? Fucking Taira is tough as nails. Van's great. Amazing. This is what flyweight can be at its best. Between the two best in the division. And this was awesome. What more can really be said here? So, this was awesome. There you go. To talk about the champ, and still the champ, a guy who will never get the respect he actually fucking deserves for being as good as he is. And still champ Joshua Van, retaining here and looking damn good doing so as the underdog champion, and fucking still batshit insane about that. But shit happens, and he made people look stupid for those betting odds, so good on him, man, retaining the belt and hopefully earning a little bit more respect than he is actually given. And dude's great. What bad can you say about this dude? He's just fucking good. His cardio is great, his striking's great, his power is great. He's a little tiny, so he kind of gets taken down pretty easily, but he was able to get up pretty soundly, and the dude's just really good. And what more are you meant to say? This dude's just a great fighter. He's more than earned the respect that he's not getting, and he's a champ. He's best in the division. What more is meant to be said here? He's proven it time and time again how good he is. People just don't want to admit it. Why, I don't know, but he's just that fucking good. That simple. He's just that guy. People don't want to admit it. As for the challenger who came up short here, the best, and he might be someday, but not today, Tatsuro Taira, taking the second ever career loss in the span of, about 2 years. This dude is good. Obviously, this dude's gonna be a champion someday. I'm almost sure of that. He's that damn good. He almost has all the skills to be a champ. He gets missing a thing or two. That being striking. And cardio. His cardio could be a hair better. His striking needs to be a bit better. Besides that, his grappling's phenomenal. His durability is great. Dude's fucking insane. And he'll bounce back from this. He's really fucking good. Again, I think he'll be a champion someday. I feel bad for him and Japan in general, because now they're 7-1 in title fights. And this was probably the best chance. But I think he will get one within the next few years. He's only 26 years old. Imagine when this dude is 30, 31, with more fights under his belt, and probably a belt. He's just a guy who you know is gonna win the belt eventually, because he's just that fucking good. And what can you really say? So, nickname I don't think is out of line. He probably is the best someday, just today wasn't the day. He will be a champion someday, I do believe. He just has some more growing pains. He gotta get better on the feet, has to get a little better cardio, a little better defense. durability's there, his grappling's great, and if he can just get a little bit better, which is scary to think he can actually get better, I think Duke can easily be a champion, and I think one day he will be. So Japan, I think you will get your champ soon. Taira, I think you'll get your belt soon. Because I think it probably will be closer to late 2027 or sometime in 2028. So hopefully you can get another fight in this year, bounce back, and go from there. So what more can you really say there? And with that being said, the only thing left to be said is, who should they fight next? For the champ. It's pretty obvious. Well, actually, we don't know exactly who he's fighting till another month from now, but we will find out in a month when we find the winner of Cop and Kyoji. The winner of this gets the title fight. Pretty self-explanatory. Get the next two guys up with Taira down. See who wins this and fights for the belt. I think I'd much rather see Kyoji win, because I think Van and Kyoji might be fucking... I don't even know what that fight's gonna be. Cop will be a fun build-up, but I think Van beats him. I think he's just better. But we're gonna find out. We're gonna see this fight in about a month, and the winner gets the title shot. Very self-explanatory, and can't wait. So, buy this fight in the Apex, by the way. It should definitely be the Baku main event or something, so kind of bullshit there, but whatever. Either way, the winner of that will get some gold, will get a chance at gold, and can't wait, so nothing more to say there. That being said, not very much more to be said here. Again, amazing fight. What more can actually be fucking explained here? Go watch it if you missed it. Fight of the night for a reason. Best flyweight title fight of all time, more than likely for a reason. It was a banger. Van's great, Taira's great. The two best in the division, it would seem. And if they run it back in a year or so, don't be shocked. And it would be just as great a second time. So, what more can I really say here? Taira will bounce back, maybe against the loser of that Cop Kyoji fight. Who knows? I mean, like Steve Erceg, some bullshit like that. And for Van, he waits for the winner of for the winner of Cop Kyoji. So can't wait for him. Knowing him, he'll probably try and get that fight ASAP. So he might be fighting in like August, September. Love to see it, and let's do it. So not really much more to say there. Great fight, great co-main event, great flyweight fight, which is rare to say. And guys like this, Kyoji Cop, are saving this shitty division from what that boring Can and many others did to it. So, division looks good in good hands. And right now the belt's in the hands of the best guy in the division. Joshua, the Van, the man. Give him his fucking respect already. He's more than earned it. He's that fucking good. And then, after all of that, all roads lead to what we're all here for, what we were all here for, the biggest fight of the year up to this point for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. The first time this belt has actually felt important in years. It would feels like we had in our main event what we're all here for, and I fucking told y'all this would happen. You know, I might not agree with the decision, still told y'all this would happen. In the main event, that did not live up to the hype at all. We had Sean Strickland versus Hamzat Chimaev. So, I guess the first question is, there's two main questions of this. A, did it live up to the hype? No. B, did Strickland win this fight? I think the answer again is no. I did not score this fight for him. I scored this fight for Chimaev. But I'm not upset at the score for a few reasons. But I'm not upset. I forgot to score this. I gave round 3 to Sean, round 4 and 5 to Chimaev. To go over each round 1 of the Hamzat round, he ragdolled and kept Strickland down, easily taking the round. Could have been a 10-8 if he actually did anything, but he failed to completely. In round 2, Strickland did great, ended up on top for a lot of the round, and took round 2, best round of the fight for Strickland easily. Then the fight got weird. Round 3, maybe the most 50-50 round of the fight. I gave it to Strickland, but it was close. Round 4, old Chimaev. Round 5, I think Hamzat won. I really do, and trust me, I picked Strickland. I wanted Strickland to win, but I feel like Chimaev won this fight 1, 4, and 5, but 2 judges disagreed, and Sean Strickland is a 2-time middleweight champion doing the impossible one more time. Robbery to an extent, but I don't think it's as bad as it could be. Not even as bad as the Waldo one or Strickland Dracus one. I think they robbed Hamzat because they know he's going to light heavyweight. They didn't want a vacant belt, so it could be worse. Again, was the fight great? Not really. Round 2 was the really only good round of the fight. Round 1 was Hamzat. Round 3 through 5 was kind of like a sparring match. Hamzat was just winging overhand and Strickland was just throwing jabs. Not really any kicks from Sean or body. Strickland just went to the head, no body or leg work. Hamzat actually was kind of the better striker in the last 3 rounds, which is insane to say. And I just don't agree with the decision. I'm not upset about it. I was hyped when it happened. Again, I picked Strickland. I told you all this. There was no world Hamzat should be minus 440. But I just don't think Strickland won this fight. Again, do I think it's a top tier robbery? No. Reyes, Jones, Dracus, Strickland won, etc., etc. Nowhere near that. But I just feel like Hamzat won this fight. But I'm not upset about it. I'm really not. Probably the best outcome, because now the belt ain't vacant, and they probably would have done Strickland Imavov anyway for the vacant. And instead, Hamzat takes a loss, which is good to see. He heads up to light heavyweight now, and Strickland's a champ. So, again, did this fight live up to the hype? No. It was very okay. It was far from a great fight. It happened. Is it gonna go down as some great fight? I don't think it's would it even be a top it might be his worst title fight this year. Like, Charles Max did have, but that's not a title fight. Like, it's better than Volk Diego, but like, I that Patty was better, Hallberg was better. Again, outside of round 2, the other 4 rounds of this fight were not good, and it was just It happened. It was a close fight, and judges gave it to Strickland, which I don't agree with, but I'm not upset about. For once, Strickland's on the winning side of a robbery, ain't that new? Cannonier Dracus, a few times he hasn't been, and good for him, man. Again, I'm not saying this fight is terrible. Again, I'm nowhere near one of the worst fights on this card or whatever, but both guys got bloody somehow, neither landed anything too clean, but it was a good fight. Well, for what it was, I guess, for who was in it and all that, made the fight a little bit better, and it's fine. Again, I have no complaints about the fight overall. It was what it was. It wasn't what the hype was. For some reason, they were all friendly from when they got in the cage and all that, but it was a different story, and I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it enough. Decision debatable, but not the end of the world. And not really much else to say there, man. So, yes, a robbery, but understandable. We can really think about the reasons why. Hamzat also completely missed weight for this fight, but they pretended he made weight. and yeah, not really much more to say here. So again, biggest fight of the year that we'll get unless we get Ilya Islam. Not, I won't call it disappointment because it still was decent, maybe even better than expected if you were, no matter what side you were picking. But it could have been better, and a new champion. Psycho Fuck does it again, and gets a gigantic upset and wins. So middleweight is different, like heavyweight is fucked, and in a weird way to end the night. So you wanna know why I don't really have the greatest voice after this fight? Because I was fucking hyped when Strickland got the nod, and not really much more I can say here. So fine fight, debatable decision. Strickland should have done more late in the fight. He really could have won dominantly. Hamzat did the best he could with the lackluster striking ability he has, and it was not bad. It was not great. It was okay, and not really much else to say. So there you go. Talk about the fighters now, beginning with the champion, the two-time middleweight champion. I believe is the second ever two-time champ behind Izzy at middleweight. That being the winner here, debatably, Sean Strickland, who is now the second greatest middleweight of all time, hands down, jumping Mr. Adesanya very easily, and yeah, this dude's a fucking great fighter. Dude's a legend at this point. Two-time champ, first bout Hall of Famer, two of the biggest upsets of all time. Has saved middleweight and made it interesting again. What more can you say? Dude is just a legend off first. If he wasn't already Hall of Famer for the Izzy upset, he is now, and second greatest middleweight of all time. Champ again. I think he's gonna hold that belt for a while, because looking at the landscape of the division, he doesn't have much to deal with, and he fucking did it again, man. I think he could look better this fight. He did not look exactly like Strickland, especially in those later rounds. He looked very autopilot, but if he can look like Strickland again next time out, take a little time off, heal up and all that, I think he's gonna have that belt for a while. I think he can get a couple. I could see him getting like 3 defenses, to be honest. He's just better than everyone else in that division at this point. And who would have thought this crazy motherfucker who was mid at best would be the second greatest middleweight of all time 4 years ago. So it's insane, man. And good on Strickland. Love him, hate him, gotta respect him. Second greatest middleweight of all time. One more can be said. And then for the loser here, the former champion Khamzat Chimaev, taking his first ever career loss. And yeah, not really a bad thing here for him, because again, he's gonna move up to light heavyweight anyway, so he won't have the belt. So now he knows what defeat feels like. He knows what he has to work on. And actually, again, I thought he showed a few good things here. I thought his striking could have looked a lot worse. I thought his striking looked alright here. Again, I thought he was a better striker in the last few rounds. His cardio actually was as good as Strickland's here. Strickland gassed pretty badly after round 2. And you know, Hamzat showed heart. He didn't mentally break like Izzy did against Strickland. He was there to fight, and that weight cut could have fucked him up. He could just underestimate Strickland. Strickland's just that fucking good, whichever one it is. Hamzat takes the L here. No, he probably won. It happens. And now he goes to light heavyweight to beat up everyone there. I think by this time in a year or so he will be light heavyweight champion, because who the fuck's gonna beat him at light heavyweight? Ankalaev will be one of the most boring fights possible, but he'll be a Hamza win. He beats Khalil and Paulo, probably beats Yuri, he easily beat Holberg. Like, this dude at light heavyweight is gonna be a fucking issue. He's gonna win the belt there pretty soundly, in my opinion, and he's still only 32 years old. He's gonna get better at light heavyweight, because he won't have to cut so much weight, and see where he goes from here, man. So, how he responds to a loss, again, I think he'll respond just fine. Hopefully we see him maybe end of the year, like in October, November. I wouldn't mind that. And really the only thing he really lost here was a first class ticket to Alberg, because now he actually has to earn a title shot at light heavyweight because he's coming off a loss here. But I think he'll do that just fine. And yeah, what can you really say here? Like, obviously didn't get fraud checked here. He's good. Hamza, like, I don't like him, I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of him at all, but he's not bad, and again, I think he'll probably be light heavyweight champ before we fucking know it, so he'll probably be the light heavyweight champ before Strickland even loses the middleweight belt, so let's think about that one. And what more can you say, man? So, plus, if he wants to look at it the way that he won that fight, maybe I don't disagree, so very interesting on both sides of this fight. And not much else to say there. Strickland kind of underperformed for Strickland standards, and Hamzat actually overperformed for Hamzat standards. Not a bad fight, and not the hype we expected, but still fun-ish, and crazy. So, what more can really be said there? So, not really much more to be said there, so there you go. With that being said, the only thing left to say, finally, I really don't have an idea here, for the winner at least, is Gender Night. Who should they fight next? Who's the new champ? I have no idea who Strickland fights. I'm obviously just kind of hating on the Improv. Obviously they're going to do the Improv rematch for some fucking reason, but being a hater, which is more fun, I don't get why. I don't think Improv has earned that at all, but whatever, let Strickland beat him up easily again, because outside that, who is there? Drakus needs to actually fight and earn a title shot. My vote would be for Brennan Allen, because I think he's the most deserving and the best fighter outside of Strickland, but whatever. Kaio, it's forgettable he's even there. Pfeiffer will probably fight Drakus, and they're not doing that. And everyone else is gone, so you see why I say Strickland's gonna hold this belt for a while. He would win the trilogy here. He's gonna beat him again. He'd beat him again. He would easily beat these two. He already beat Fluffy. Everyone else is gone, like what, RoboCop and COD, he would beat those guys. So I just see Strickland holding this belt for a few defenses until either he gets old and retires or gets a fluke loss. So, like, but the bad thing, none of these fights are interesting. Does anyone want to see him trilogy Drakus? I don't. Does anyone even care about Improv? No. Allen? No. Kaio? No. God, no. Pfeiffer? That'd probably be the best build-up, but who cares? Because it's not even a competitive fight. Like, I don't think any of these dudes give Strickland a fight. If he fights at his best, I think he easily beats all of these guys. Like, he's just better. I really just think he's better than these guys, and I don't see anyone on his level in this division with Hamza gone. So, Drakus beat him twice, he beat him once, and I think Strickland wins a trilogy. He would smoke Improv and Allen again, and Kyle and Pfeiffer have no chance, because they're not that good. So, again, I see Strickland going on a defense streak. I see 2 or 3 defenses here, to be honest, and again, none of those are main events either. And, like, they're probably going to do the Improv fight. That's a co-main. That's a co-main to maybe in the Garden to Ilya Islam, ideally, or Jones Aspinall, or Jones Pierre, or whatever happens. That's not a main event. No one cares about that. Like, Strickland's cool. He can only sell so much, and no one cares about Imavov. No one wants to see a Drakus trilogy as a main event. Allen, Kyle, and Piper are not pay-per-view main event level guys. So, Strickland might have to co-main for a fight or two, because none of these fights that I understand, they're all easy wins for him, and how is he gonna, like, Drakus you can't sell again, because those didn't sell good the first 2 times. Imavov couldn't sell anything. Allen and Piper would try, but no one would care, and Kyle would try, and no one would care. So, that's just how I look at it. I think Strickland's holding that belt for a few defenses. I'm not gonna try and be funny, I really think he beats all of these guys easily, and could he even go on like, let's just hypothetically say, well, yeah, Joe, I want to make that. I think he'll at least get 2 or 3. Let's say Imavov, and then maybe the winner Piper Drakus, because that'll probably happen. I think and maybe even a third guy like Allen or Kyle. I would not be shocked if he went on a 3. And at that point, maybe, I still don't think he would need to win like 5 or 6 to pass Anderson, and especially against better names than this. But dude's good. Certainly good. I think he's hands down best middleweight in the division with Hamzat gone, and I just see no threat set for him. 3 guys he's already beat, and 2 guys he would easily beat. 3 if you count Fluffy, who he already beat. So what I really meant to say, I'm not gonna pretend these guys who have no chance against Strickland have a chance here, because I hate Strickland. I don't hate Strickland. I respect him. Not the biggest fan of him, but Jesus Christ. That's not one. And he would be the underdog in those fights, which is the craziest part. So what else am I meant to say? I see Strickland holding that belt for a few defenses. So what else am I meant to say? And then for the former champion, Hamzat Chimaev. Yeah, I think he's gonna fight Yuri or Ank. I think that's pretty, so maybe Khalil, but I doubt it. I don't seem like a big enough fight. It's gonna be Yuri or Ank, and I would imagine it's probably gonna be Yuri, because I think Ank's probably gonna fight Paulo. So, yeah, Hamzat and Yuri sometime, maybe the end of this year, would be crazy. Big heat. So, not really much more to say there on Yuri. I think maybe obvious fight, no reason not to do that fight. And you got Ank, but does anyone want to see that? You got Paulo and Khalil, which seems like step down. You can't give him a title shot. So Yuri, what more can you say? It's a giant fight. It would answer how good Hamzat is at light heavyweight right away. And look at, not really much more to say there, so pretty self-explanatory, and let's see how he does. The Wolf does that light heavyweight again. I think he's gonna be champion pretty fucking easily, but let's see how he responds to his first loss and who he fights in his light heavyweight debut. Either Big Ank or Jury, so not really much more to say there. And with that being said, not really much more to be said here. Again, I didn't hate this fight. I thought it was, yes, it was underwhelming for what the hype was, but it was okay, and I had no giant issues with it. It's not one of the worst title fights ever. Is it one of the worst fights both guys have had? Not really, but I think Strickland's had worse fights. I think obviously Hamzat on DDP was much worse than this, and it was weird. It was a weird fight to cap off a really weird card, so it kind of seems fitting in that regard. Yes, the decision's debatable, but if you're right, it makes sense why they would pull some strings here. And either way, we got a new champ. Got second greatest middleweight of all time. Hamzat hasn't lost it though, but see how he does at light heavyweight. And who should they fight next? Again, for Strickland. Yes, they're gonna do him and Imavov. I don't agree with it. I think it's pointless, but Outside of him, you had either DDP Trilogy, an Allen rematch, or Piper and Kyle, which none of those are interesting. And I still believe Sterling's going to hold the belt for a few defenses at least, so not pretty simple there. And then for Hamza, again, angry. You can't give him Wahlberg. A, he's injured, and B, he just lost. They might do him in Paulo, but again, I feel like Paulo and Hank's going to be announced probably pretty soon. And what more is there to really say? So, guys, it was like Siri lose to Hamza, but that's the fight to make. And if Hamza just is that damn good up at 205, he's that damn good at 205. So, what more can be said? And I told y'all, the crazy man did it again, even though I don't think he won. Still, fine fight, debatable decision, and like I said, a really weird fight to cap off a really weird card. Pretty much I'll say there from New Jersey. And with that being said, boom, that was the recap to go over how I did on picks. I won 9 of 13, or really 10 of 13, 5 perfect and 565, I had 75, because again, Waldo got robbed, so only 3 L's here. Joel, Rambetsky, Tulio, 3 fights I'm not surprised get wrong. He got cuddled, he's a bitch, and he has no chin, so I was gonna be lucky to get like 500 on this card, and to go above 500 by a few fights, and or get 10 right, sweep the main card. I'm very happy with that. So, what more can I say? And even if you pretend Waldo lost, I'm still happy with 9 of 13, but I got 10 because he won, so do I think I shouldn't have got this, but it happens. But I guess, yeah, necessarily I did get 9 because I won this and lost this, but whatever, I'll take it. And yeah, I would imagine I did much better than a lot of people, even though I placed 2001 on Tapology. So whatever, I'm very happy with those picks. The bonuses for the card went to Vanta with Fire the Night, no shit, Miller and Amasa, POTN. Yes, this is debatable. I think King Green should have got that other bonus, but I'm not upset about it. Again, he's got bonuses before, but I do think he got a first round finish. So that was the only other one of the night. So, we should have got it, but it could have been worse. They could have given it to like a Debo or Susur Kayos. So, again, myself looked alright, cool finish, but probably should have been King Green's. Not complete robbery of a bonus, but it's like, yeah, Bobby should have got it, but shit happens. But I had myself first bonus, why not? Whatever. If you missed a card, what you should... After that, if you missed a card, what should you go back and rewatch? I cannot speak English today. I've been going for an hour and 43 minutes, are you shocked? I'll say Jose Ochoa, Kopylov, Jim Miller, Masov, maybe, and the title fights. I would skip everything else, to be honest. I would skip Susakaev and Sabatini for sure. Dawson and Debo, you didn't miss anything there. And then I would skip the first 3 main card fights, because what are you gonna watch? A fight that's predictable, a fight that's predictable and boring, a fight that's a robbery, not even that good. So, again, Miller, Ochoa, Kopylov, and Masov if you want, Van and Strickland, I'll rewatch those. Everything else, you didn't miss much. God, I feel bad for those people who only watch the main card. Yeah, you're gonna view this card a lot differently than anyone else. Second to last, and the best segment of all every week, my favorite, the chopping block, was gone this week. We got 2 heads this week, in my opinion, that being Clayton Carpenter and Mateusz Rambetsky. Carpenter's lost 3 in a row. Becky's lost 4 of his last 5. And I already know people are going to say, like, a few years ago when I said, Ginaldo Velasquez, I think was his name. It's a Mexican lightweight who was exciting. I said he should get cut. People were like, no, you can't cut him, he's entertaining. He's also not winning fights, so what am I meant to say? Remember, get the fuck out. Carpenter, get the fuck out. Outside of that, I don't think you can cut anyone else. No. I wish, but it's not gonna happen. Not yet. No. Well, yeah, but that shouldn't even need to be said. And then no one else after that. I would love if they cut Buckley, but that shit ain't happening. And, yeah, the 2 heads, there's still 2 heads, Becky and Carpenter. I actually think Carpenter will get cut, Becky won't, but I'll still put him there because he should be there. And, not really much else to say there, so copy all of you saved your ass this time, because I was expecting it to be you and Carpenter, but Becky took that spot, and, yeah, not really much else to say. And with that being said, the only thing left to say to end all of this fucking finally is, what would I rate this card? Again, if you only watch the main card, you're giving this like a 3. If you watch the whole card, the ups and downs of it, the some good, a lot of bad. Again, this was closer to the floor of the card than the ceiling, and I'm gonna say the rating for this card is, I'm gonna say a 5.9 out of 10, which for most cards would be actually pretty good. For this card, again, it's just kind of underwhelming. A card that's this good, getting anywhere between like a 5 and a 6 on paper, how good it was. It was, again, underwhelming. But I predicted it. I said, yeah, this card's gonna be like a 8, 9 out of 10 great, or it's gonna be a 5, 6 out of 10, which for most cards is good. But when you're this good looking of a card, it could have been better. 5.9, that puts in like the mid-tier, under obviously the top ones. But yeah, this obviously it's better than 324, 5, 6. But 327 was better. And there was some pay-per-view fight nights that were just better, like Seattle, Mexico, Vallejos. So I don't know what else is above it with 5.9, but we'll find out. I guess that's around like 6 or no, 6 to 9 in the list so far of the year. And again, underwhelming, weird. There was some good on this card, but the bad was very bad. And I'm gonna say a 5.9. I could not go up to a 6, to be honest. I think that's too high, but I think the lowest I would go is a 5.5. So again, if you're only watching the main card, you're giving this like a 3, and that's just for Van Tyer pretty much. But if you watch everything, then we can agree it's in the ballpark of a 5 and 5.9. That's what I'm giving it. So second best pay-per-view of the year so far. Kind of says a fucking lot. And there you go. Not really much else to say there. Oh, we finally did it. There you go. Recap done. Hour and 48 minutes later. I was not expecting to go that long. I forced myself to continue this. Tired. I hate pay-per-view recaps because they're so late and exhausting. But I do this shit for y'all. I hope you enjoy it. And done. Fucking done. And I could have just done a quick 15-minute thing, but that's not me. That's not the best I could give. This is the best I could give, and hope it was worth it. Hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, there you go. So that being said, not really much else to be said there. Thankfully next week we get back to recaps that should be more doable and less dreadful, and we'll breakdowns are easy anyway, with UFC Vegas, was it 117? Whatever Allen and Melky's IO is. Break that card down on Friday, recap it on Sunday. Yeah, that card's not phenomenal, but it's the main event is the rest of the card is shaky at best, so we'll talk about that next week. But for this week, Day 28's in the books. Let's feel the post effects of it for a day or so, and then focus on our last card of this, like, the 12 card streak in a row. One more week of card, then a break, and we'll see what happens. So, not really much else to be said there. Weird card. Good ending, very much saved by the ending of the 2 fights, even if it was debatable. And what more can I really say here? So, underwhelming trip to New Jersey. Now let's head back to the shitty Apex. Oh boy. Somehow that card will be better than this, so whatever, man. I'm tired of talking for a minute, and no one's gonna make it this far in the video anyway, so that being said, all I have to say is, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, I'm very gassed, tired, and everything else RX. I do this shit for y'all, I hope you appreciate it. As always, RX out. Good vibes. Only